So today we asked the question, who played Jason the best? Well, today we're going to talk about it. So let's get spooky. Greetings everyone, my name is Nightshade. This is The Night Shift, a home for all things spooky, and today we're going to be ranking the Jason actors. Now, through the years, Jason has been portrayed by many people. There's only one actor that's ever portrayed him more than once. And my fingers are crossed that Derek Mears will get to portray him yet again. But because there are so many different actors that portray Jason, he's had a lot of different personalities over the years. You know, everybody puts their own personal stamp on the character. And certainly because of, the multiple portrayals of Jason, everybody's got to have a favorite, and so do I, and I also have least favorite Jasons as well, so I figured, let's go ahead and rank every single Jason portrayal on screen. But before we do that, I want to say two little things before we even get started. I like every single Jason in the franchise. I don't think any actor sucked at playing Jason, and because of the nature of what type of video this is, somebody's got to come in last place. But understand that whoever makes it into last place, I still very much enjoy them as a Jason. I have no qualms with any of these Jasons. I think they all did pretty good. This is one of the rare instances where there is no bad actors in the bunch. So if one of your favorite Jason portrayals doesn't make it high on the list, it's not that I don't like them. It's just that I like other portrayals more. I do enjoy every single Jason character out there. Now, the second thing that I want to address is that this is just a subjective list based on my personal taste. So my tastes might not line up with your favorite tastes. So, that's just take it with a grain of salt. This is not a big channel by any stretch of the imaginations. My opinions, fuck them. You know what I mean? Basically, what I'm trying to say is don't let a faceless goober on YouTube hurt your feelings. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter anyways, This ranking, I'm going to be not using any of the children that played Jason, so no Swamp Boy Jason, no Dream Jason from Freddy vs. Jason, and I'm not including the weird Jason kid that turns into a monster from part 8. And this one I'm just ranking the big boy grown-up Jasons. And for this one I'm also just leaving it up to the actors that portrayed him throughout most of the film. Like I know in part 6 there was somebody that played Jason for a very small amount of time, but I'm not going to rank him in this because he didn't get enough screen time. However, there are two Jason actors in part 2 that I feel they both need to be added to the list because of specific significance. So let's go ahead and talk about the actors themselves and which films they were portraying Jason in. So our first Jason actor is Steve Dash, who played Jason throughout the majority of part 2. He did the majority of the stunts, the majority of the kills, and all of the action sequences that were Jason. In part 2, we have Warrington Gillette. He was slated to play Jason throughout the majority of the film, but because he couldn't really keep up the pace, they ended up hiring somebody else. However, he is the Jason that jumps through the window at the end, and I feel that scene was iconic enough that he needed to be featured in this list. So in part 3, we have Richard Brooker, who played Jason in the majority of part 3. I don't remember if there was other stand-in Jasons on that one. I think he's the one that did most of the Jason work, if not all of it. Now, our fourth portrayal of Jason, we have Ted White. He performed as Jason in part 4. He is the one that did the full shebang, and he is an absolute legend. Now, part 6 was portrayed by CJ Graham for the majority of the runtime of the film. I know that there was somebody else that did part 6 as well, but he was only in a couple of scenes. I can't really judge based off of that. But the majority of the film was done by CJ Graham, so that's why he is on this list and the other actor is not. Now, the next person to portray Jason is obviously Kane Hodder, who portrayed him in part 7, part 8, 9, and 10. He's the only person on this list that has portrayed Jason more than once. Next, we've got Ken Kersinger, who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. And finally, we have Derek Mears, who portrayed Jason in the reboot. Now that we've met all of our Jasons, let's go ahead and rank them. So, in 8th place, we have... Now, even though the window busting scene is one of the most iconic parts of part 2, I think that it's not enough screen time to portray Jason. The Warrington Gillette is in dead last place because, he didn't play him throughout the majority of the film. Although the scene that he's in is iconic, I just don't feel that it gives enough personality. It's a dope scene, but we don't see what else he could have brought to the table other than that one scene. So moving right along, in 7th place, we have... Now, I know this is going to upset some people, but hear me out. Now, Friday the 13th Part 3 has like one of the most chill Jason, at least up until the third act. Like, he's just kind of moseying around, chilling in the shadows, and that's cool, and I think he does a great Jason, don't get me wrong. That being said, I like my Jason a little bit more out of the shadows and a little bit more aggressive and in your face and ready to do as much harm and damage as he possibly can. Richard Brooker is great in the third act, but this is, you know, through the majority of the film, he's just kind of very chill, and you know, like, it works for this film, but you know, for me personally and my personal tastes, I just wish he would have brought a little bit more to the table, a little bit more aggression. He is a great Jason though, so you know, put your pitchforks down, calm down. So up next, in 6th place, we have... So this one I know is a lot of people's like least favorite Jason. However, the reason that he's even this high up on my list is because the Freddy vs. Jason like fight sequences were fucking awesome. Not to mention he gets a lot of cool kills, the majority of the kills in the film, and all the fight sequences that he's in are just fucking phenomenal, and that's the only reason that he is above anybody, is simply because, you know, rewatching that film, and I didn't dislike Jason as much as I used to. I actually really liked it, and I know that's not a popular opinion, but I don't care. This is my list and I'm sticking to it. Yeah, Ken Kersinger in 6th place, and that is where I stand here. Moving right along into 5th place, we have... Now, even though I'm more of a fan of like living Jason, human Jason, whenever it comes to dead Jason, I think that CJ Graham does a pretty good job. This version of Jason, you know, like he's like eyes on the target and then go in for the kill. There's no reason or humanity behind that hockey mask, and I like it. But whenever it comes to the undead Jasons, I think that his version is like at least it's my second favorite undead Jason for sure. So moving right along into 4th place, we have... So Steve Dash's portrayal of Jason is like really good. Although I'm not a fan of the costuming of Jason as a character, this is based on portrayals, and I think that his portrayal of Jason is really cool. You know, his Jason is very aggressive, but still also remains unseen in the shadows, and he's sneaky, but whenever it comes time to get to business, he gets to business. You know, and I've said my piece on the outfit. I don't like his costuming in this film, but his overall portrayal of the character, I think, is great, and yeah, so that's why he made it into 4th place. So now it's time we move into my top 3. So in 3rd place, we have... Now, Kane Hodder, I think, is the most synonymous with this character. Like, when people think of Jason, Kane Hodder is usually people's go-to, and it's easy to see why. He's the one that has played Jason the most. He's the only person that has ever portrayed Jason more than once. You know, the what he added to the character, you know, the sinister breathing, and, you know, just the lock in and move in for the kill type of body movements that he added to the character, and just the overall aggression of the character makes his Jason one of the most iconic Jasons of all time. And I'm sure that there's people here that say that is my Jason, and you know what? I don't blame you. You know, Kane Hodder has played Jason the most, and I would love to see him put on the mask one more time for a good Friday the 13th entry. Like, that's all subjective, you know, like I don't find his films to be the best. I love Jason X, don't get me wrong, I love that fucking movie, but it's objectively, it's not the best film in the franchise. So I would love to see him portray the character in like a good Friday film, and you know, you could say that part 7 and part 8 are good. I don't think so. I definitely don't think so with Jason Goes to Hell. Like, no, sir. No, sir. Now we move on to 2nd place, and this was one of the hardest parts of this video, is mulling over who was going to be my number 1 and who was going to be my number 2. So when thinking about it, and I mean like really thinking about it, I had to be honest with myself. So in 2nd place, we have... Now, this one comes as a surprise to me because for the longest time, you know, Ted White was my favorite Jason. Like, he was my favorite Jason as a kid. He was a favorite Jason even now as an adult. But then, you know, rewatching this entire franchise, like, he's still really close to number one. This was my Jason growing up, and he still is. He's still one of my all-time favorites. Like, number two out of this lineup is still very fucking good. And I mean, it's so close. It's so close. I like that he didn't follow suit with the previous Jason. I like that he put his own stamp on Jason. I love how aggressive he is. I love his body movement. I love, you know, how he holds himself with the hockey mask on. I think he is a fucking legend. Rest in fucking peace, man. Like, this dude was my favorite Jason growing up, still is close to my favorite Jason. But if I'm gonna be honest with myself, after rewatching this entire franchise back to back to back to back, this is the only thing that I've really been watching in doing this series. So, you know, I had to be honest with myself, because number one on my list is absolutely going to be Derek Mears. Fucking crushed it. You know, everything that Derek Mears, Jason, brings to the table is genuinely fucking terrifying. Like, there is nothing that he does that feels not threatening. Like, from the way he runs at his victims to the way that he kills victims, it all feels very violent and very, very aggressive. And even him just standing, just not doing anything at all, just standing, looking fucking threatening as hell. Just everything that he brings to the table is just menacing and threatening, and I love this portrayal of Jason. And I you know, like, it caught me off guard rewatching the reboot, because, you know, I remembered that I wasn't a fan of the characters, but I did like Jason. And then rewatching the reboot, like, I didn't realize how much I fucking love this Jason. Like, he's just top notch. Like, this is everything good about Jason in every previous portrayal. Like, everything that Derek Mears brought to the table was fucking phenomenal and fucking terrifying at the same time. Like, I feel like he has accumulated everything that was cool about anybody else's portrayal and just kind of meshed it into one fucking giant ball of fury and hate. So as much as I wanted to put Ted White as number one, but I had to be honest with myself. Like, I fucking love Derek Mears' Jason, and I would love to see him put on the mask and do it again. I would love to see a sequel to the reboot, and just see him have fun and do his thing. All right, so that is my list, and I am sticking to it. And the same thing goes with any single ranking that I've ever done on this channel. I am genuinely curious to see your list down below. And if you don't feel like doing the entire list, that's entirely fair. Just go ahead and comment down below. Who is your favorite Jason portrayal? So that's just gonna about do it for me. If you liked the video, let me know by leaving me a like. Comment down below what you want to see on the channel next. I will do my best to accommodate, I really will. And until next time, my name is Nightshade. This has been The Night Shift, and I will see you in the next video. Stay spooky, my friends.